जो दिखाना चाहते थे कि दिल्ली में अलग से राजनीति करूँगा, उनकी अलग राजनीति है कि उनके 9 रतन कोई भ्रष्टाचार में, कोई किसी चीज में या तो केस चल रहे हैं, जेल के अंदर हैं, या तो नैतिकता के आधार पर खुद इस्तीफा दे, और उनसे अगर ये भ्रष्ट विधायक और मंत्री नहीं समझ रहे तो उनको बर्खास्त करें, लेकिन दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री विधानसभा का पटल का दुरुपयोग करेंगे, ये बर्दाश्त से बाहर है।
All right, so they are somewhere misusing the Delhi Legislative Assembly. This is what the allegation is, and as of now, Toya, this is not the first time when BJP is protesting. In fact, we are seeing on and off protests on a daily basis by the BJP leaders, where allegations are that Aam Aadmi Party is a corrupt party, and as of now, CM Arvind Kejriwal should take action against Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia. In fact, Jaiprakash, who is the former mayor, was saying that Manish Sisodia should resign from his post. And, effigy was burnt just a few minutes back, and they are saying that now they are misusing the assembly, in fact, because no one was asking for the confidence motion, but they have misused the particular sessions. In fact, this was the last session today, and they are saying that they're misusing the assembly somewhere. Toya.
Akash, thank you. The Delhi BJP continuing their protests against Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The Aam Aadmi Party refuting all allegations. It's time right now for a short break. On the other side, we continue to bring you all of the country's top stories. Stay with us. Do keep watching CNN News 18.
A third of Pakistan is completely submerged after the heaviest recorded monsoon in a decade.
Every province in the country is affected by the floods. The rains, which began in June, have washed away crops and damaged homes and businesses. It has displaced around 33 million people. Most of the villages and towns were caught off guard by the swiftness and power of the flood waters. More than 1,000 people have been killed so far, and the death toll rises every day. People don't have access to food, clean drinking water and shelter. The disaster could not have come at a worse time for Pakistan. The country's economy is in free fall. The government has declared an emergency and appealed for international help.
Meanwhile, the strongest global storm of 2022 is barreling across the East China Sea. Super Typhoon Hindenburg is packing winds in excess of 250 kilometers an hour. The typhoon is gaining strength over the West Pacific Ocean. It's currently moving across the East China Sea. Hindenburg is threatening Japan's southern islands. Its maximum significant wave height is about 15 meters. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao today met with Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar as well as his deputy Tejashwi Yadav in Patna. In a joint press conference later, both Chief Ministers hit out at the Modi government and made a pitch for a BJP Mukt Bharat. Bollywood actor Jacqueline Fernandez has been summoned by a Delhi court on the 26th of September in connection with a money laundering case involving conman.
A very good afternoon. You're watching the 12 p.m. newscast on CNN News 18 with me, Akaksha Swaroop. Let's dive into this segment with some breaking inputs coming in on the national capital. The Delhi BJP is protesting against Manish Sisodia outside the Delhi Assembly. These are the latest visuals we are bringing to you. CNN News 18 has been keeping a close watch on this news story. Remember, earlier also we showed you visuals of Sisodia's effigy being burnt. These are protests taking place against Manish Sisodia, and these are the latest visuals that we are bringing to you. Remember, there was much chaos in the Delhi Assembly also just a while ago, and the latest we are bringing to you is the mega stir that's taking place. As you can see, those effigies being propped up by BJP workers. We can see an effigy of Arvind Kejriwal on the left side of your screen. On the right side of the screen also, very loud protests taking place by the Delhi BJP. It seems that the Delhi police is also detaining some people. As we all know that the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP are already involved in a war of words over the alleged corruption in the excise policy. And the excise policy is not the only issue that they have been protesting against. There's also the building of classrooms. The Aam Aadmi Party has been alleging Operation Lotus. The national capital is all set to now revert to the old liquor policy regime from today. This is the other significant aspect as far as today is concerned. The national capital will be rolling the old liquor policy back into action. The policy will make government shops sell liquor in the city. But these are the visuals that we are bringing to you of the Bharatiya Janata Party workers in the national capital protesting against the Aam Aadmi Party. We also heard some BJP leaders step out and speak up against the party, especially against Manish Sisodia. The government has taken several steps to avoid the shortage of stock as far as liquor in the national capital is concerned, and it will ensure that sales are continued in the national capital. We've also learnt here at CNN News 18 that more than 300 shops will be ready to cater to the demand. As far as this protest is concerned, let's quickly go across to Akash, who's joining me on the phone line with more details. Akash, what remains, of course, is the top focus right now are the demands being posed by the BJP and why they are primarily protesting against the Aam Aadmi Party.
Right. The main question is that why they are protesting. So they are protesting. They are saying that Aam Aadmi Party is somewhere trying to deviate the focus from this particular issue because they think that calling a session and, bringing the confidence motion without any reason and, talking about the alleged Operation Lotus will shift the focus from the particular scam that they are involved in. This is what BJP is maintaining, and that's the reason why BJP is protesting again and again on a daily basis, saying that, Aam Aadmi Party and its leaders are involved in this kind of scam, this kind of corruption, and at this point in time, they are somewhere demanding an action against specifically Manish Sisodia, who is the Deputy Chief Minister and also the Excise Minister of Delhi. Also, let me tell you and mention this very fact that, this is not the only case where BJP is raising questions and, in fact, alleging about the corruption. In fact, we have seen that, building of classrooms and also about this Operation Lotus. You must be remembering the time when BJP leaders, just carried out a press conference saying that in case the leaders have received any sort of call from the BJP, then they should be investigated. And in fact, it was said that, a forensic investigation should be carried out in this particular case. So as of now, we are seeing a war of words between Aam Aadmi Party and BJP, specifically over this particular issue, which is the excise policy, but also on some other issues, which is Operation Lotus and also the building of classrooms. Also, it is important to mention that yesterday we saw how a delegation of Aam Aadmi Party went to CBI asking for a fair probe in this particular matter, where it was said that, Aam Aadmi Party was offered 20 crore per MLA. In fact, their MLAs have got several calls where it was said that they have, got the offer of 20 crore per MLA, and the option is that you need to break the party and come to BJP, and you need to help BJP in forming the government in Delhi. So we are seeing a war of words between Aam Aadmi Party and BJP over several issues. But at this point in time, the development is that BJP is constantly protesting against the particular policy and against the Aam Aadmi Party government. They're saying that they are misusing the resources of the national capital. They are calling the house, they are calling the assembly session, but they are not discussing about the education, about the health or any relevant issue. And as of now, they are demanding action against Manish Sisodia.
Right, Akash, we also heard some politicians step out and speak up against Manish Sisodia. As you also rightly pointed out, we are also hearing reports of the Delhi Lieutenant Governor all set to take action against 4 Aam Aadmi Party leaders. If you could take us through those news reports.
Right, and this all started with this particular policy. Though from today onwards we are back on the old policy regime, but we have seen that how drama unfolded over this particular policy, the new excise policy, where private shops were allowed to open in the national capital. Though now we don't have any private shop opening in the national capital, but we are seeing a political war of words where in fact BJP, as I mentioned earlier, is asking for an action against Manish Sisodia because, in fact, talking about the recommendations by LG, in fact, in those recommendations, it was very well mentioned, it was very much mentioned that Manish Sisodia is somewhere involved in it. And, talking about the FIR, so in fact, the FIR that has been registered by CBI is very much mentioning about Manish Sisodia. In fact, Manish Sisodia is the prime accused in the FIR. So as of now, the whole focus is on Manish Sisodia because BJP leaders are demanding an action against Manish Sisodia. And on the other hand, they are also saying that Aam Aadmi Party is misusing the resources and trying to deviate the focus from this particular issue to some other issues.
Right, Akash, you mentioned that all right, we are also getting in some breaking inputs. Let's quickly go across to those breaking inputs. All right. There's been no bail for this year as far as the mutt is concerned. The anticipatory bail of the Lingayat Seer Shivamurthy Swami has been deferred. This is the latest that we are learning right now. So there's clearly no relief for the Lingayat Seer. Remember, today has been a very crucial day because the hearing in the anticipatory bail petition was supposed to take place and that's already happened, but the bail plea has been deferred. This is the big breaking we are bringing to you. The anticipatory bail plea has been deferred, and so clearly there's going to be no relief for Chitradurga, the seer of the Muruga Mutt. The hearing was to take place before the District Sessions Court. For more details, I'm joined in by Ritu on the phone line. Ritu, clearly there's no relief now for this year. What happens next?
So you see the anticipatory bail that was being filed in the court, the session court, is now being deferred to tomorrow. But meanwhile, the another accused in this whole incident, that S.K. Baswarajan, in fact, who has also now filed an application for an anticipatory bail in the magistrate court. So these are the two major developments that have taken place in the Seer incident, that you see how he was that an FIR was being filed against him and the others accused also in this whole incident. But this is somewhere being purposefully dragged, is what has been seen, because a kind of a pressure that has been mounted from the somewhere from the political leaders, as well as the way how the police is also dragging this whole issue, because it was likely that how today he was supposed to in fact appear here. So his legal team is almost they are all here at the court, and now that the anticipatory bail, that had the hearing in that all is the different kind of ways have been seen, and this is being deferred to tomorrow. So there are some major developments that are taking place in this whole incident. But what is the only thing that can be seen is how the way how it is all being dragged and delayed in a way because of the the powers that this mutt holds, and how influential this in specific the chief seer is also.
Right. Also, what is the security situation? Because Ritu, we are also learning that the security has been beefed up around the case hearing. What is the security situation on Ground Zero right now?
Yeah, so with all this, so because the girls were also being produced to the court, there has all been a barricades that have been placed at the main circles and near the court, as well as at the mutt premises to ensure that the security all is in place and peacefully the things are being carried out, because this is a case which is very much sensitive in the nature. So that is what the police is ensuring on one side, because we have also seen how the protesters have all turned up at the court premises as well as at the mutt to asking for immediate arrest of the seer. So there have been a lot of protests that have taken place here, both at the court premises as well as at the mutt premises. So that is something that the police has also ensured it, and the police is also requesting the Dalit community people to not turn up for a protest, because this is all to the investigative officers, and thus the investigation is on. The law will also take its own course, so there is no need of the protest, is the kind of words that the police is also trying to put out.
Right, Ritu, stay with us. For all our viewers who are just tuning in, it's important to establish the latest developments. Let's also listen into what
arguments we heard.
Okay. So has there been a filing of objection done by the police?
Tomorrow. They will take time. It will take time. Why do you think there's such a delay? Because it's an important, it's a POXO case and it's been 5
It
days.
is not question put to me. It is a purely put to question to IO. Because we are lawyers appearing for the petition. Bail application has been filed. We are following only legal proceedings.
You hope, sir, you will get a anticipatory.
If I say that word, it is abuse of process. Because it's purely discretion of the court.
Okay. And in case if the anticipatory bail petition is quashed, what will be the next? In case if the anticipatory bail petition is quashed, what could be the?
Your question, I think it should be a premature question because until disposal of the bail application, I can't say anything.
Can I ask you something? Is there any legal impediment for the investigating team to go forward based on the Section 164 statement given?
164 statement is a purely conference system. It is known to the only judge victims. It cannot be available to the public or defense lawyer at this stage.
So can the police go forward with a statement once they have access? Is there a legal impediment for any kind of an arrest or any kind of questioning or giving a notice?
I have already answered you. It is a purely discretion of the police. Investigation is a freedom of police. Freedom of police, duty of the police, right of the police. We are as per 150 class 2. Nobody is having power to interfere in the investigation.
So the bail application is posted for
tomorrow for objections. We are already filed bail application. Today victims also present in the court along with their parents, one of the parent. In camera proceedings are going on inside. Tomorrow it will post the objection. Umesh.
That is the.
All right, for more details, let's quickly go back to Ritu, who's joining us live at the moment. Ritu, if I could take my first question as far as the seer is concerned, he's someone who's received support from the likes of B.S. Yediyurappa. I'd like you to highlight how crucial the entire Lingayat community is to the politics as far as Karnataka is concerned.
Yes, you see the Lingayat community in specifically constitutes almost 17% of the votes here in the Karnataka. So in a way, if I have to sum it up in a one line, is that anywhere onto whichever side this particular mutt or the seer is the party which is likely to win in the Karnataka. So we have seen this kind of a swing votes previously as well. This was back then when the Virendra Patil in 1990 was a CM, and just that's the sentiment that the Lingayat community also holds in the Karnataka, when exactly you see the Virendra Patil, who was the then CM and was been sacked by then the Rajiv Gandhi, who had visited in the Bangalore's airport, and that's when he gave this call out. So what exactly happened over there? So of course the Lingayat community votes swinged all the way from Congress party to the BJP party, and till date it's the Congress party which is still trying to gain these votes back. They're all trying it best, because previously too we saw how Rahul Gandhi from the Congress party also visited the mutt, and he also took a Ishtalinga there. So that's the kind of the developments that had taken place at the mutt premises too, and that's what is the the prominence that this particular mutt and the seer also holds. Here too, if we talk about how the sentiments are being holded in this particular Chitradurga too, you see there have been a lot of developmental activities that had been taken place from this mutt and the seer. So that's the kind of a sentiment and the vital role this mutt and the seer plays. So of course, in a way, there's been a lot of questions that have been raised against the police, that why is there a delay in this whole process when there is already things are being made clear. There has been a lot of it's already been a lot of time that we are talking about. The time is just getting killed. The lot of evidence too with the time will also be won't be able to, that the police will not even be able to retrieve more of these kind of an information. So that has been a regular attempt that we're getting to see in this case. It's already going to be 1 week of that an FIR was being filed. You also see the politicians pouring in the support for the seer, but not for the miners, but also the politicians too. Those kind of a mixed reactions that we're getting to see is also the very much same, where they are saying that the law will take its own course. The investigation is on in this whole process, and thus this is all to the investigative officers and that process to take up the decisions further.
Absolutely. Also, how this is a very fragile case because the charges have been framed under the POXO Act. I'd like you to throw light on the legalities of this case, Ritu.
Yeah, so you see, as we're talking about the timeline, it's already been 6 days that this FIR was been registered, and that too what exactly takes place over there. You see these girls actually moving out from the mud and then reaching out all the way to the Bengaluru Cotton Pet police station, and that's where the police says that this does not come under their limits. They cannot take any kind of an action there. So they then tell that, you know, it is to the Chitradurga's police station that they will have to approach them. So these girls then try and reach out to an non-government NGO in the Mysuru, and that's the district collector. In fact, must be appreciated, in fact, that he's the person who came forward and took this whole incident very seriously. The girls' words were being taken seriously, and FIR was been registered in the Mysuru. So later point, you see, in the weekend is when this case was being transferred in the Chitradurga's rural police station, and the process here started. You see, there has been a lot of investigative process that had taken place when it comes to the minor girls, but let's talk about it as well. What is that kind of a step that has been taken regarding the seer and the mutt and all the accused in this incident? We're seeing the regular procedure of the investigative process that has been taking place when it comes to the minor girls. But what is happening exactly when we talk about the seer's investigative process? The girls have been produced not once, twice, but thrice in front of the court for the statement recording. And you see, there has been a lot kind of a developments, the Mahazur process being taken place at the mutt. So the investigative process has been in a flow when it comes to the minor girls. What is taking place with the seer's part is a kind of question that has been raised by the people and the activists as well as the community which is protesting here in Chitradurga.
Also, Ritu, what of course also gets the spotlight is not just the reaction that is coming in from politicians, as we said, senior politicians or veteran leaders like B.S. Yediyurappa, but also the role that's being played by the police. A lot of fingers have been raised, in fact, at the cops for not doing enough, as was pointed out by you also, that the FIR has not been filed on time. Has there been adequate security provided to the girls? The role of the police is also something that I'd like you to focus on.
Yes, exactly. You see, there's been a regular movement of the cops here at the court too and at the mud too. You see, the police has been, huge police in fact has been deployed at the mud premises too. All suddenly at the midnight, the regular movement of the officers has been seen both at the court and there as well. The barricades are in place to ensure that no untoward incidents takes place, because the protesters are all also turning out in a huge number every day from day one, and they've been demanding for an immediate arrest of the seer. And why is there a delay? That is the kind of a question that has been raised against the administration here in the Chitradurga and against the police, because the cops also maintains to be silent in this whole incident. The SP, you see, is also saying that this is whole. The police in fact says that this is a complicated case and the investigation process is on, and the law will take its own course. That's the kind of a line that has been repeated from the cops. But meanwhile, you see, there is no kind of an investigative developments that is taking place when it comes to the seer part, but there are regular movements, regular procedures that we can see from the minor girls' investigative process.
Ritu, I'm going to request you to stay with us, because I'm also joined in by Ms. Abha Singh, who's a senior veteran lawyer and is joining me on the phone line. Ms. Singh, today we know that there's been no relief since the anticipatory bail has of course been deferred, but is this enough?
No, not at all, because people are trying to make POSCO or this crime which has been registered into a political thing, that political parties have jumped in, politicians have jumped in, and now they are trying to say that the seer has done very good work. But my issue is, if a crime has happened, why are you not acting on the FIR which has been registered? If you say POSCO sections have been put, then let me tell you, these are very serious issues. And after that, if police is keeping quiet, or if it is waiting for instructions from the political bosses, then the High Court needs to step in. And I think this matter needs to be taken out of Karnataka and shifted to Maharashtra or some other state, so that justice should be meted out. And if a crime has happened, then action is a must, because you may be ever so high, but the law is always above you. I'm appalled that the police is taking so much time to investigate and come to a conclusion. If the police feels that this is a fabricated case, then also they should come forward and take action on the people who have fabricated this case. But if there is proof, there is justice, if there is an iota of proof, then the police need to arrest the people responsible for it.
Absolutely. That is exactly what I was coming to, Ms. Singh. What explains this lack of proactive action by the cops, since we all know, our reporter was also highlighting the situation, that not much has been done as far as providing adequate security to the girls is concerned. There was delay in lodging that FIR as well. What can ensure that the police take timely action?
Exactly. Supreme Court has always come very strong on victims protection program that every state should follow. These young girls should get proper security. The people who are around them should be given security. Because if you see, most of the cases, these victims turn hostile because of political pressure. And as we all know now that so many politicians are making comments, means that there is something in play. But the issue, as I said, that we need to act.
All right, we seem to have lost that connection with Ms. Singh, but some very powerful remarks coming from her. She, of course, has to say that the matter needs to be taken to the High Court, shifted out of the state of Karnataka, and that there needs to be more action, more timely and adequate action to be taken by the police. Let's also listen in to some political reactions that have poured in on this case.
That investigation is going on. Let investigation report come out. Arresting, non-arresting is not the issue. Investigation should be proper. I hope the Karnataka government and Karnataka police are doing the proper investigation.
It is a religious head and lacks together people, devotees for the Muruga Mata Sri, and there is allegations and counter allegations also there. And Swamiji already expressed that is some vested interest. These all false allegations have been made. It is all, everything will come out, only proper investigation. So law will take its own course.
Inputs on this very story. We are now learning that the minor girls once again have been produced in front of the court in the backdrop of the POXO Act and atrocities case against the Pontiff of the Mutt. The police produced the minor girls once again to the court. For more details, let's quickly go back to Ritu, who will tell us more information. Ritu, what are you learning in terms of the new statements that have been recorded again? What was the need to record a new statement first of all?
So while, yes, we are right now present at the court itself, you see there's a huge police deployment that you can see here. The vehicle movements are being restricted, but of course this is all about the anticipatory bail that was being filed in front of the session court, which has now been deferred to tomorrow. So this again comes as in the major development in the story of this year that we are learning. But meanwhile, the other accused named S.K. Baswarajan too, he too had filed an anticipatory bail to the court, magistrate court, and he too has been looking forward to his kind of decision that will be taken up from the court. So this is all taking place of when we talk about the accused in this whole incident. But there are regular investigative process that is taking place when come to the minor girls. The girls were again today being produced in front of the court because this is also a part of a procedure. But we are talking about the kind of investigative process which is only taking in a major way when come to the girls, minor girls, but not in terms of the accused in this whole incident. You see there on a way that, you know, not once or twice but almost 3 to 4 times that these girls were being produced in front of the court for the statement recording. And there has been a Mahazar process too that had taken place twice at the Mutt premises. So with this is all that the investigative process that is taking is taking its own way or in a own way when come to the minor girls. But there is no investigative process majorly taking in when we talk about the accused in this whole incident, because this is a powerful Mutt that we are talking about. It holds a huge, plays a significant role too in the whole of Karnataka, because it constitutes almost 17% of the vote for any party for that matter. So that's the kind of a pressure that has been mounted on the police, is kind of a question that has been raised as well. But you see there are regular protests that are taking place. The Dalit community is also saying that why is this year not been arrested immediately, because it is also not just the the case that we're talking about, the sexually abuse, but also the atrocity act is also in place when in this whole incident. When this is such a big incident, why is there no arrest of the accused? That is what been raised as well. There are so many incidents that we have seen previously to how big seers have stepped down from their positions, and until unless they were not being proved clean, they haven't got back to their position. So if the seer is clean in this whole of an incident, why is he not being able to come out and give this word out very clearly? Because the only word that we have heard from him is the conspiracy. He is saying that from past 15 years, this kind of a conspiracy is being played against him and the mud for a lot of reasons. So there is kind of conspiracy within the mud that we are talking about, as well as outside the mud. So there is a huge things that has been placed in this whole incident. But of course, there's a big question that has been raised against the police and the state government, that what exactly is taking place. Why is he not being arrested? Is it because he plays a big role when it comes to the election? So election are the votes, in fact, is important for the state government, or it is about the justice to the minor girls?
Absolutely. And as far as justice to the minor girls is concerned, Ritu, you know, the other aspect to this entire case that stands out is the sentiment within the Dalit community. We've seen protests. We've also seen Dalit leaders step out and demand that the case be transferred to a non-BJP state. I'd like you to take us through what the Dalit community, what has been the sentiment within the Dalit community, and also what senior Dalit leaders have to say.
You say the Dalit community people have in fact started protesting from the day one, because they are saying that why are they being neglected? Are they because it is that they belong to a minor community? Why is it because it's a big person that who is involved in this case? I'll also show you the picture, that the banner that they are holding. You see the Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao is the kind of a banner that they are holding here. And in fact, let me tell this to you, they are standing here since the day that the statement recording had started in the court about these minor girls. So they are here daily, in fact, and are standing for a very long time, and are been demanding for a justice, because it's the same government in the center, at the center, who talks about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and many more things that they are talking about, the women's development and child's development, child's rights too. So, but what is happening in the same parties, in the state government, the BJP party, which is the ruling party in the state too. So why is there a delay in this whole case? So you see, that's the many questions that have been raised against the police and the state government too. Who is exactly that? Who is mounting? Who's in fact trying to save all this out from the politician side? Because there's a mixed reaction. All the parties have maintained to be silent in this whole incident. The only thing that we're getting to see from them is that the investigation will take its own course, is the kind of a word that we have heard from them. But you see, here the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is the banner, with the banner that they are standing from day one. So English or Hindi you? Kannada. So ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನದಿಂದ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು ಇದೇ ಥರ ಬೇಟಿ ಬಚಾओ ಬೇಟಿ ಪಡಾओ, ಮತ್ತು ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಮೇಡಮ್, ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಯೋಜನೆ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಬೇಟಿ ಬಚಾओ ಬೇಟಿ ಪಡಾओ ಅಂತ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಬೇಟಿ ಬಚಾओ ಬೇಟಿ ಪಡಾओ? ಓಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. 7 ದಿವಸ ಆಗಿದೆ FIR ಆಗಿ.
So you see what they are saying, that it's the BJP government, it's the Modi who speaks about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. But what is happening in their own party state in the Karnataka? Why is there no justice that has been given to these minor girls? Why is the seer not been arrested?
Right, Ritu, thank you for bringing in all those details and for tracking those live updates for us from Karnataka. And with that, let's quickly move over to some other news stories. The week-long multi-nation military drills have now kick-started in Russia's eastern military district, the Sea of Okhotsk, as well as the Sea of Japan. And India is part of these military drills. Now, the military defensive and offensive exercises have been also joined by China, Mongolia, Laos, Syria, Nicaragua, Belarus and Tajikistan. The exercise comes at a time when Western countries are trying to isolate Russia in the wake of the Ukraine invasion. Although this isn't the first time that India is taking part in multinational military drills in Russia, the United States has raised concerns over New Delhi's enduring security partnership with Moscow. And staying with the news story, we have some breaking inputs. There's politics already breaking out over India's participation in the military drill with Russia. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has hit out at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying, why conduct drills with China when our army is facing the PLA in Ladakh? For more details, I'm joined in by political editor Maria Shakil on the phone line. Maria, if you could contextualize this for us, how crucial these drills are for India, and at the same time the timing, but of course the politicization never stops.
Yes, the point being made by Asaduddin Owaisi is that how can you be in a similar drill exercise which also has the presence of China? Remember, India will be taking part in this multi-nation military drill, Vostok 2022, which is being hosted by Russia from September 1st, which is today till 7th, but will be staying away from its maritime component to avoid hurting the sensitivity of Japan in particular. The warships of Russian Navy's Pacific Fleet and the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy, which is essentially planned, will be taking part in this drill, which is going to take place in the Sea of Okhotsk and the Sea of Japan as part of the Vostok 2022. And the point being made by India is that you cannot really not participate in, because this is about strategic command and staff drills, which are very, very crucial, which has the presence of several countries, which includes Kazakhstan, Belarus, Tajikistan, Syria, Laos, and among others. Now, the point being made by Asaduddin Owaisi is that India and the Indian government has much to explain, particularly in the context of the PLA, where the Indian army is facing the PLA in Ladakh, who have occupied the land. Major military drills kick off in Russia. So can India really explain why are we in fact doing such a drill with China, and that too in Russia?
Right. Maria, also it's important to establish the fact that India has always maintained a non-aligned position when it comes to whether it is Russia or even participating in these drills, where, as we are aware, that China is also participating, but India's stance of course remains a neutral one.
Yes, India has so far been very careful and has maintained a very nuanced stand, given the kind of pressure that India faced in the Russia-Ukraine war. And despite that, the pressure coming from US and other countries, India had said that it was because of its strategic position, and also India understands fully well that there could be an emergence of another Russia-Pakistan-China axis, which India would not really want, because two of these countries are in its immediate neighborhood. That is the reason why India is continuing with it, and India did not really, and India, in fact, was lauded for its nuanced stand in the Russia-Ukraine war, in which India also got its share of energy fuel as well. So the point being made by India is that India cannot afford not to be part of Vostok 2022. Mr. Owaisi and others can continue to raise this, but they see this more as, and several other countries can continue to raise concerns, including United States. But these drills are crucial because most of these countries are in Asia, and India is the rising force in Asia.
Absolutely. Also, India is trying its level best to avoid hurting sensitivities of nations like Japan, and perhaps that's one reason why India has made conscious efforts to stay away from the naval drill. Right, we seem to have lost Maria on the phone line, but this is the latest we are bringing to you. Politicization within the domestic spheres in the country has already begun, as the Vostok military drills begin from today. As Maria was pointing out, they will be on till the 7th of September, and India is joining Russia's Vostok of 2022 war games. Again, the timing of these war games is very crucial, because remember, this is the first time that Russia is organizing the Vostok war games after it began invading Ukraine. And having said that, the other aspect which makes it equally crucial is the ongoing tensions at the LAC between India and China. And perhaps that is what explains why Asaduddin Owaisi has lashed out at the Indian government, questioning why is India participating in a war game in which China is also participating. For more details, we'll keep a close watch on this news story. But with that, let's now shift our attention over to Bengaluru. Bengaluru's civic infrastructure stands exposed as parts of the city are still submerged underwater after heavy rains lashed at the city 2 days ago. The heavy rainfall has also caused damage to life and property as hundreds of trees were uprooted and several houses and buildings were left damaged, while vehicles got submerged underwater on overflowing roads. The city traffic police have also issued advisories for commuters to avoid any vehicular traffic, which has also been diverted in many areas due to waterlogged roads. Let's also listen in to what the CM had to say.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನು ಆಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು ತಡೆ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೀರು ಹರಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪೈಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಆ ಓವರ್ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿರುವ ನೀರನ್ನು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಹಲವು ಬಡಾವಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನೀರು ನಿಂತಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾದಂಥ ಡ್ರೈನೇಜ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮೇನ್ ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಲೇಔಟಿಗೆ ನಿಂತಿದೆ. ಆ ಲೇಔಟ್ನವರು ಡ್ರೈನ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಭಾಳ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀರಿಗೆ ತಂದೆ ಆದಂಥ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ದಾರಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ರಾಜಕಾಲುವೆ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದಾರಿಗಳೇನಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಸೂಚನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
Look at the situation. We haven't had rain yesterday and day before, not much of it. All this is at least 2 days before that the city saw rain, and still the water hasn't drained out. This is a crucial stretch of the outer ring road near Bengaluru, has several tech parks, and you can see large parts of the road flooded, inundated, traffic not moving, traffic almost coming to a grinding halt, and at many places the stretch of road is completely closed. This is a crucial area that has several tech parks. The situation was far worse. Thankfully, we haven't had much rain yesterday and day before. As a result, the water level has reduced here, but not completely dry, not to the normal situation. There's still a lot of water stagnating on the road. This is lakes in the vicinity. 3 crucial lakes in the vicinity have reached full tank level, and they have been breached. That's one of the reasons why water is stagnating here. For a third day in a row, the outer ring road is flooded, and the Youth Congress carrying out a protest, mocking the government by planting paddy, sowing paddy, at the same time catching fish, and saying, well, this is the failure of the Basavaraj Bommai government to ensure that there is no flooding on outer ring road, and they're mocking the government. You can see they've got enough. They've got fishes. They're planting paddy. And they're mocking the government, saying that there have been various promises by the BJP government, but they've failed, and they've failed to ensure that the city is prepared for monsoon.
All right, for more details, let's quickly go across to Harish, who's been tracking the situation from ground zero. As you can see, Harish, the story remains the same year after year. Bengaluru roads are turned into rivers. What action has been taken so far? We are learning that there was a high-level meeting chaired by the CM yesterday. Has there been any work done so far on war footing?
Well, nothing much has happened in terms of finding a permanent solution for this. What we do know is that there have been stopgap arrangement, temporary reliefs provided, but the government yet to give a clear-cut plan on how it plans to ensure that whether this year in monsoon or next year, that this doesn't occur again. We've had chief ministers going on an inspection drive earlier. Today, Basavaraj Bommai will go one in the afternoon, but nothing much has changed. People are asking for accountability. They're saying you had a demolition drive a few years back. Nothing much happened. The officials were not punished. Once again, you're talking about demolishing any encroachment on stormwater drains. Will it change anything? And why are officials giving permission for buildings to be built on stormwater drains? And whenever there have been encroachments, why were they not cleared immediately? And why is it now that in knee-jerk reaction, the government is threatening to bulldoze houses? And where is the accountability? Why is the city not having an elected council? Remember, the BBMP's elected body is not there. The elections have been delayed. And we do not have a Bengaluru development minister. That portfolio is still with the chief minister. So many asking if it's time to have a dedicated Bengaluru development minister who who can focus on issues.
Right, Harish. Some very hard-hitting questions remain to be answered by the Karnataka government. Thank you so much. We'll now be moving over to some breaking inputs coming in. We're now learning that the Aam Aadmi Party is seeking time from the president to meet, alleging that Operation Lotus is taking place. And that is, of course, the Operation Lotus is by the BJP in the capital, and this is taking place in Delhi to destabilize the Delhi government. For more details, let's quickly go across to Rupashri on the phone line. Rupashri, what are you learning? Till yesterday, it was the CBI, and now the Aam Aadmi Party is all set to march to the president.
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party is essentially trying to escalate the issue and keep the issue as a talking point in the public domain. Remember, even as we speak, there is a confidence motion which is underway on the floor of the House in the Delhi Assembly. And exactly this is what is being discussed by the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs over here. Now, Atishi Singh, actually, one of the prominent Aam Aadmi Party MLAs, has tweeted saying that they've sought appointment from the president of the country to raise this issue of the BJP allegedly trying to destabilize the state governments across the country. So Atishi essentially making the point that this is not just about Delhi, it is about other state governments as well. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs will actually do what they did yesterday, that is land at Rashtrapati Bhavan without an appointment, and then try and force a meeting as they did yesterday, or will they wait for the Rashtrapati Bhavan to get back to give an appointment so that they can meet the president? This is essentially, a political point. Nothing great is expected, nothing concrete is expected from it. Like I said before, Aam Aadmi Party making all efforts to keep this issue in the public domain as a talking point, and is trying to drive the agenda over here. Remember, it has been on the back foot ever since the Lieutenant Governor has given the go-ahead for a CBI probe into the Manish Sisodia's alleged role in the Delhi excise policy, and since then it has been the BJP which has been setting the agenda, but now slowly Aam Aadmi Party is trying to reverse that.
All right, Rupashri, stay with us because I'm also learning that Mr. Harish Khurana is with us on the phone line. Mr. Khurana from the BJP. Mr. Khurana, how would you like to react now that the Aam Aadmi Party is all set to knock at the president's door? Till yesterday, it was the CBI. Clearly, they want to see how the CBI is going to react and how the president is going to react, because they think that all the agencies in this country are favoring the central government. I'd like to take your thoughts on that.
See, when whole country is asking a question on corruption today from Aam Aadmi Party government, they're asking when Manish Sisodia will going to resign, when you are going to take a resignation of a 4-month jailed who is in jail right now, Satendra Jain. When are you going to take the resignation of that? When are you going to explain on the liquor scam about corruption? When are you going to tell about the country, about the education scam, what you have done, classroom scams? They are diversifying the issue. On one day they say New York Times, another day they say 5 crores, then 20 crores, then poaching of the MLAs, then Vidhan Sabha session, then burning efficiency under Vidhan Sabha of Lieutenant Governor, which is very unconstitutional. Now a new drama. We are seeking a time from the President of India. You can do that, but tell the country also, when are you going to take the decision of Manish Sisodia? They should come out and say, corruption has been happened. CBC report has come out on education scam. You should explain on that. In spite of giving these kind of things, they are diversifying the issues.
Mr. Khurana, the allegation is that the BJP is conducting Operation Lotus and is destabilizing the governments, the non-BJP governments all across the country. Your thoughts?
Today, whole media, today whole BJP, today whole country is asking one question. Please name the people who have called for poaching of the MLAs. Who has done this Operation Lotus, so-called Operation Lotus, or what the term is Operation Lotus? They should come out and seek out which BJP member has said. Come out now, give the proof. Why are you not giving the proof? Yesterday you gave a dharna at CBI without giving the papers to the CBI. They are just giving a dharna, again dharna politics. I mean, my demand from Aam Aadmi Party, in spite of doing all this, whatever you want to do it, but you should come out who BJP senior leader has come out and try to post your MLAs. You should come up now, give the proof.
And how do you react to the Delhi Assembly suspending the BJP politician today?
See, last 5 days we are seeing a drama of this. They call a session for 1 day for a confidence motion which nobody asked for. Neither LG nor the opposition has asked for a confidence motion. They have come up with a confidence motion. Not even a single work has been done in the last 4 days. You are postponing the session for another day. We are postponing the session for another day. What for? I mean, nobody has asked for a confidence motion. You are creating a drama. When BJP is asking a question about liquor scam, BJP is asking about the education scam, you are suspending them out. You want to kill the democracy. And the main thing is, yesterday in a premises, have you ever heard about inside the premises some burn efficiency? I mean, efficiency has been burned. Have you ever heard about that? I mean, this has become a Rajnitik Atta of Vidhan Sabha has become a Rajnitik Atta of Aam Aadmi Party.
Mr. Khurana, what do you make of the timing as far as today's decision to march towards the president is concerned? Because we all know that the old liquor policy is going to be rolled back and will be kicked into action. What do you make of the timing of these so-called actions that are now being taken by the Aam Aadmi Party? Because yesterday, as you rightly mentioned, there was a dharna outside the CBI headquarters. Today, we are hearing of the president. They'll be approaching the president. What do you make of this timing?
See, my take is, I mean, they are just try to diversify the issue. That's it. Nothing else. One, their whole script has been flopped. Daily they come up with a new script, but every time they are getting flopped. People are asking, "Tu idhar-udhar ki baat mat kar, ye bata karwa kyun loota? Why have you stolen the money? Why have you done the corruption in the liquor scam? Please answer the questions. Please answer the questions which the BJP has asked." Now they have already cornered now. I mean, you have seen the reaction. They are frustrated right now. They want to take a new issue daily. They want to have a new script daily. That's it. Nothing else.
All right, Mr. Khurana, thank you so much for speaking to us at CNN News 18. And with that, let's quickly shift our attention over to other international stories that we are tracking this hour. The Office of the UN Human Rights has published its long-awaited report now on the alleged human rights violations in China's western Xinjiang region on Wednesday. The report was released despite Beijing's demands to keep a lid on this report. The report blamed China for human rights violations and crimes against the Uyghurs and Muslim minorities in the Xinjiang Autonomous Region. Rebutting these claims now, the Chinese government has said that authorities in Xinjiang region operate on the principle that everyone is equal before the law, and the accusation that its policy is based on discrimination is groundless. And so this is a very crucial report that has been released. Remember, Michelle Bachelet, the UN Human Rights Chief, was set to retire yesterday, and she has retired. And before that, she ensured that this crucial report is finally released. And having said that, what are those very crucial points of this report? Let me break them down to you. The UN report, point number one that it states is that abuse against Uyghurs is taking place in Xinjiang. This is a quote from that report that we are right now reading to you. The torture amounting to crime against humanity. This is what the UN report has stated, that it is crime against humanity, that there are vague laws being used by the government in China to clamp down on the rights of the minorities, and the rights actually also go all the way to infringing on something as private as reproductive rights. The report also establishes systems of arbitrary detention were put into action to detain the Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities. Prisoners have been subjected to patterns of ill treatment, and what are those kind of ill treatment? It has also detailed all those ways in which the Uyghur Muslims were ill-treated. Incidents of sexual and gender-based violence have also taken place. It's important to note that this was a much-awaited report by the UN. What is it going to do? Well, it's going to certainly place accountability on China, because this has now been taken and has been officially sort of announced by the UN. It's now on official record that China has been abusing the rights of the Uyghur Muslims. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to reveal the new Indian naval flag that retires a British colonial symbol. This new flag marks the formal debut of India's first locally built aircraft carrier. Here's a report.
A red cross on a white background, with the national flag in the corner and the Ashok Stamp in the center. The ensign that has depicted India's strength at sea for decades, that nishan for the Indian Navy, will change come the 2nd of September. With the commissioning of aircraft carrier Vikrant, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also unveil the new ensign for the Indian Navy. While the new design has been kept under wraps, the Prime Minister's office said it will be a burial of our colonial past. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office said, and I quote, "During the event, the Prime Minister will also unveil the new naval ensign, doing away with the colonial past and befitting the rich Indian maritime heritage." After independence, Indian Defence Forces continued with British colonial flags and badges till an Indianized version was adopted on the 26th of January 1950. The Navy flag saw the Union Jack of Britain get replaced by the Indian tricolour. But St. George's Cross, the red cross on white background, was retained. The national emblem featuring lion heads were added to the centre of the flag.
Prime Minister's unveiling of the ensign or the nishan for Indian Navy is in sync with celebrations of 75th year of independence. It is also culmination of a long pending demand to make Indian Navy's flag and crest more Swadeshi and in sync with the sign and symbol of other defence forces of India. In New Delhi, this is Arunima.
And with that, we are getting some breaking inputs on Jharkhand, as we are now learning that JMM is seeking time to meet the Jharkhand governor amid the political crisis that is surrounding CM Hemant Soren and his looming disqualification. This is the latest that we are now bringing to you, that amid this heat that is now surrounding JMM, we are learning that the party is all set to meet Jharkhand's governor. This amid this political crisis that is taking place. Remember, there is heat on Chief Minister Soren, and his looming disqualification seems to be a major issue. And the latest we are now learning is that the party is all set to head to meet the governor. For more details, I'm joined in by Saurabh Rathore, who's live with us. Saurabh, if you could take us through all the details. How soon can we expect this meeting to happen? Will it happen at all?
See, the JMM has sought time to the governor, but the timing has not been confirmed from Raj Bhavan. And this is related to the latest political, turmoil which is going in state of Jharkhand, wherein we have seen the MLAs, they are been shifted to Raipur in a resort, and now today is the cabinet meet of the ministers at around 4:30 p.m. Meanwhile, we are learning that the JMM leader, one name which is coming out is Vinod Pandey, who is the general secretary of the party. He along with according to our sources, along with 11 members of the party, have sought an appointment with the governor to discuss the political turmoil which is going on.
All right, Saurabh, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. And with that, let's quickly move over to all the top stories we are tracking in News Blitz this hour. The Jammu and Kashmir police has killed Jaish-e-Mohammed's terrorist Kaisar Ashraf Daroon an encounter last night in North Kashmir. Sopore, a resident of Pulwama, Ashraf was the son of Jammu and Kashmir police personnel. He was missing since earlier this year in February. Congress President Sonia Gandhi's mother, Paolo Maino, passed away last Saturday. However, the news of her demise was released yesterday. The funeral was held on Tuesday and was revealed via Twitter, wherein condolences began pouring. The Gandhi family flew down to Italy to pay their last respects to her. President Draupadi Murmu has offered her condolences and wished the Gandhi family strength after Paolo Maino's demise. She tweeted, and I quote, "Sad to learn about the passing away of Mrs. Paolo Maino, mother of Congress President Srimati Sonia Gandhi. My heartfelt condolences to her and her family. May God give her strength to bear this irreparable loss." Prime Minister Narendra Modi also offered his condolences to Sonia Gandhi after her mother passed away. His tweet reads, and I quote, "Condolences to Sonia Gandhi ji on the passing away of her mother, Mrs. Paolo Maino. May her soul rest in peace in this hour of grief. My thoughts are with the entire family." A serial killer is out at large in Madhya Pradesh, having claimed his third kill in Sagar district last night. The killer's preys are restricted to sleeping watchmen at night. Two of his murders were within 48 hours. Objects that have been used to kill so far are hammers and stones, which is why he's also being referred to as the Stone Man Terror.
घटना की कार्यविधि है और घटना की जो परिस्थितियाँ हैं और इसमें जो मृतक हैं वो भी एक से लग रहे हैं। इन दोनों को पुलिस मिलाकर देख रही है और इसमें कुछ अहम सुराग पुलिस को हाथ लगे हुए हैं। संदेहियों से पूछताछ हो रही है और शीघ्र ही पूरे प्रकरण को खुलासा किया जाएगा। लोगों से सिर्फ यही अपील है कि अगर उन्हें अपने आसपास कोई भी संदिग्ध गतिविधि दिख रही हो, तत्काल कंट्रोल रूम, नज़दीकी पुलिस थाने या 100 नंबर पर डायल करके सूचना दें।
Bhopal's Hamidia Hospital is all geared up for their first demonstration of robotic surgery at the Gandhi Medical College. The administration has upgraded their technology to be able to function both at the college and hospital levels. A team of orthopedics will be flying in from different parts of the country. All medical colleges in Bhopal shall be using the technology post its success.
उचित लोगों का इलाज हो सके, इसके भी हम पूरे प्रयास कर रहे हैं और इसीलिए हम रोबोटिक सर्जरी हमारे मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में अध्ययन के लिए भी और इलाज के लिए, दोनों के लिए हम शुरू करने का काम कर रहे हैं और उसके लिए हम पहली इसका डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन गांधी मेडिकल कॉलेज में करने वाले हैं, जिसमें नी रिप्लेसमेंट हम रोबोट द्वारा करेंगे। रोबोटिक सर्जरी का परफेक्शन और उसके रिजल्ट बहुत ही सकारात्मक हैं।
A shocker from Jharkhand's Dumka, where a mathematics teacher was bound to a tree and beaten up by his students for marking them poorly in the examinations. As many as 11 out of 32 students were given a failing grade by the teacher. The school has refused to lodge a complaint and register an FIR in the interest of the future of these students. The police solved a mysterious death case after they discovered a mutilated body of a transgender in Madhya Pradesh, Indore. The body of the victim was found at one place while the other part of the body was found at the house of the accused. The Indore police has arrested the accused.
करने के लिए जो गुम व्यक्ति थे अपने थाना क्षेत्र में और ज़िले में, उनकी एक लिस्ट बनाई गई। उस लिस्ट में एक जोया और मोहसिन नाम के किन्नर का पता चला कि ये 2 दिन पहले उनके परिवार वालों को भी बुलाया गया, दिखाया गया और चीज़ें उसमें उनसे बातचीत की गई, तो उन्होंने अंदेशा जताया कि ये इनके जो परिवार का सदस्य है।
Assam police has arrested 2 individuals who were linked with rhino horn trading near Kaziranga National Park in Assam. The police launched a search operation based on inputs they received.
रिकग्नाइज करती है तो वो अगर ख़ुद अपने मदरसे खोलकर चला रहे हैं, जैसे दारुल देवबंद है, मुबारकपुर में अशरफिया है, ऐसे कई बड़े मदरसे हैं, डिफरेंट स्कूल्स ऑफ थॉट के प्राइवेट मदरसे हैं, जिनका ना सरकार से कुछ लेना देना है, ना सरकार उनको कुछ फंडिंग करती है। हाँ, जो मदरसा बोर्ड के तरह रिकग्नाइज्ड हैं वो सरकार से उसका ताल्लुक़ है, गवर्नमेंट से। इनसे ये क्यों सर्वे क्यों करा रहे आप? मैं अगर मदरसा खोलता हूँ तो अपने इस्लामिक तौर तरीक़े उनको सिखाने के लिए, इस्लामी फ़िक़्ह सिखाने के लिए, उनको मौलाना बनाने के लिए, मुफ्ती बनाने के लिए, और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से ताल्लुक़ ही नहीं है। और संविधान के आर्टिकल 30 के तहत मुझे एक फंडामेंटल राइट हासिल है कि मैं अपने मदरसे खोलूँ, अपने पसंद के एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट्स खोलूँ। इसमें सरकार क्यों मुदाखलत करेगी? आप सर्वे क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं? आपको इससे लेना देना क्या है? क्या आप उनकी तनख्वाह दे रहे हैं? जो मदरसा बोर्ड के तहत मदरसे हैं, उनकी तनख्वाह तो आप दे नहीं रहे हैं पिछले 4 साल से। ये मदरसे प्राइवेट मदरसे हैं, अनएडेड मदरसे हैं, और आर्टिकल 30 के तहत इसको कायम किया गया है। तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट क्यों सर्वे करा रही है? आपको लेना देना क्या है? अब आप एक ऑर्डर जारी कर दीजिए ना कि अब आप मुसलमान मत रहिए, आप कुरान मत पढ़िए, नमाज मत पढ़िए, ऑर्डर जारी कर दीजिए। वही करना चाह रहे आप। ये सर्वे नहीं है बल्कि एक छोटा NRC है ये।
मदरसों को लेकर पूरे देश भर में और बार-बार सवाल उठते रहे, वैसे में अगर कोई सरकार चीजों को रेगुलराइज कर रही है,
क्यों रेगुलाइज करेंगे? क्या रेगुलाइज कर नहीं क्यों क्या रेगुलाइज करेंगे आप? जो मदरसा बोर्ड के तहत उत्तर प्रदेश में वो आपका रिकॉर्ड है। ये मदरसे से, ये जो प्राइवेट मदरसे हैं जो मदरसा बोर्ड से रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं है, जो आर्टिकल 30 के तहत उनको राइट है, आप क्यों करेंगे सर्वे उनका? आपको क्या राइट है करने का? क्यों करेंगे आप? आप क्यों जानकारी करेंगे आप? क्या आपके सामने मदरसे चल रहे हैं, आप क्यों शक करते हो मदरसों को? आपके दिमाग में बात बैठी हुई है शक करना। आपके कल एक ऑर्डर, आप इस सर्वे करके बोलेंगे नहीं यहाँ पर नमाज नहीं पढ़ो मदरसे में, आप कहेंगे नहीं कुरान मत पढ़ो। अरे भाई ऑर्डर जारी कर दो ना, बोल दो, तुम सब बोल दो कि हम मुसलमान नहीं है। ये करना चाह रहे मकसद आप हैरास करना चाह रहे मुसलमानों को। रिकॉग्नाइज मदरसे की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मदरसा एजुकेशन बोर्ड अलग है। ये प्राइवेट मदरसे हैं जो भारत के संविधान के आर्टिकल 30 के तहत मुझे खोलने का पूरा इख्तियार हासिल है। आप उसमें इंटरफेयर नहीं हो सकते, आपको कोई राइट नहीं सरकार को इंटरफेयर करने का उसमें। आप क्यों करेंगे? क्या पैसे ले रहे, क्या आपसे कुछ ले रहे कर रहे? ये हम मदरसा हमारा है। अब ये छोटा NRC है, मैं तो कहूँगा ये। वो एंटी नेशनल है? कहाँ एंटी नेशनल है? बताओ कहाँ एंटी नेशनल है? इतनी बेशर्मी से कह रहे हैं कि हम आज़ादी के 75 साल का अमृत उत्सव मना रहे हैं। जो यही मदरसों ने इस मुल्क को आज़ाद करवाया, आज आप उनको शक की निगाहों से देख रहे हैं। ये आप खराज अक़ीदत पेश कर रहे हैं, होमेज पेश कर रहे हैं उन मुजाहिदीन आज़ादी को जो इन मदरसों से निकलकर भारत को आज़ाद करवाए थे। बेशर्मी की हद हो गई है। सुनिए, आपको झूठ बोला जा रहा है। सच्चाई ये है कि जो मदरसा एजुकेशन बोर्ड के तहत मदरसे हैं जिसमें पंडित लोग